Chapter 11. 1. I, I'm L. I'm Detective Superintendent Yagami of the MPA. I'm Matsuda Aizawa. I'm Ukita. I'm Mogi. Bang, huh? Is this your idea of a joke? If I were a kid, you'd be dead, Yagami-san. All Kira needs to murder someone is knowledge of their name and their face. You ought to know that by now. Common says you can't just kill anyone by knowing their name and face, but the fact is criminals are dropping dead one after another on the basis of that information alone. That is how he murders people. We have no choice but to believe it. We're the only ones left who are willing to risk our lives for this, so let's be careful about telling anyone. But telling people our names, let's value our lives. He needs to know their names. I knew about faces, but did anyone ever mention names? Every major criminal whose name is unknown or whose name wasn't reported erroneously remains alive. This was brought up in the task force meetings, but if that's the only basis, rather than standing around talking about how we move over there, please turn off your cell phones, laptops and any other electronic equipment you may have and place them on the table first. You think we might have our cell phones on talk mode so someone outside could monitor our conversations? Just do this eyes away. We all knew he was cautious, but this makes me wonder if he really trusts us or not. It's not that I just can't stand it when someone's cell phone rings while I'm talking. Two more things: don't write anything I say here. Just keep it in your head. And don't call me Al anymore, please. Always call me Ryuzaki from now on. Both for safety's sake. Now all of you sit down, please. I just had an idea. If we know that Kira needs to know people's names and faces, then can't we just tell the media to omit their faces from the camera, from the crime cover age? That could limit the number of victims. If we do that, ordinary people will be killed. Ordinary people, why is that your guess? I'm also childish and hate losing. That's why I know Kira is childish and he hates losing. L, no, Ryuzaki, could you explain that a little bit more clearly? That time I used the TV broadcast to challenge him. Kira, who was, as far as we know, had killed only criminals until then, didn't hesitate to kill me. That is the death row inmate he thought was me. Then when I said he was in the Kanto region around Tokyo, he started concentrating on Japanese criminals. By the time he eliminated the FBI agents, he was concentrating on Kanto region criminals. Every time you challenge him, instead of backing off, he cockily responds with a challenge of his own. He always has to win, can't stand losing. What do you think would happen if you use media restrictions to shield criminals from someone like that? He'd say, withhold criminals from me and I'll kill liars and cheaters. I'll even kill innocent people. I'm taking the whole world hostage. And he'd say, it'll be your fault, not mine. Those who shield evildoers from judgment are evil themselves. That's Kira's mental process. If we're going to worry about the media, what we really need to shield is a few of us hunting Kira now. And while we're at it, let's figure out how to use the media to our benefit. Fortunately, we've got commitments from police in every country, including the US, to provide us with information and forensic experience, expertise. How about something like this, for example? US outraged over death of FBI agents. Well, outraged G8 nations agree to send a total of 1,500 investigators to Japan for Kira manhunt. That's a whole different dimension for finding and killing just 12 agents. Kira will start seeing enemies everywhere he goes. As he starts feeling concerned, he'll make some kind of move. I like it, yeah. Make him think 1,500 are after him when actually it's only 7. And unlike those FBI agents, they won't really exist, so he can't kill them. Really lucky. I'll send this idea up to the Director General's office right away. But if Kira feels cornered, who knows what kind of move he'll make. Like I always said, these guys won't exist. What the fuck? Where was I? Here I am. Do you mind if I share my thoughts on this case with you? Kira is one person acting alone. He had access to task force information. But what's your basis for deciding he is acting alone? Hold on, Aito. Let's let Ryuzaki finish, and once we've heard everything he has to say, then we can all question him. Alright, so he needs knowledge of his victim's name and face to commit murder, and he can control the time of death as well as the victim's actions before death to a certain extent. Now please keep those points in mind and listen carefully to what I say next. December 14th, 12 FBI agents enter Japan. December 19th, Kira uses prison criminals to carry out what are clearly tests of his ability to control victims before they die, before death. In other words, within just 5 days, Kira became aware of the FBI presence. He felt threatened, and in order to eliminate all the agents in Japan whose number and names and faces he couldn't have knowledge, he used criminals to test how far he could control his victims' active actions. 727, using the results of his test, he gets all 12 agents to receive a file with their names and photographs and succeeds in killing them. That proves that he needs to conceal from us which agent's file he had seen. That is to say, can we assume he had fairly close contact with one of these agents. The bodies of all 12 agents were found in Tokyo from December 19th to December 27th. A total of 23 wanted former or suspected criminals in Tokyo died of heart failure. And that's just the victims we know about. These victims were clearly unlike Kira's targets so far. And that means to eliminate the FBI, and Kira needed to kill some people even if they weren't class A criminals. And a large number of victims indicates that he wanted to conceal which ones those were. He probably needed a few. The 8-day gap between the tests and the FBI murder was to give the agents time to probe others so as to draw suspicion away from himself. However, we can't be sure that during those 5 days he was among those being probed by the FBI here in Japan. Kira went to quite a lot of trouble to get the names and photos of all 12 agents to send that file to all agents. He first needed to get it onto one of them. The FBI agents have sent me computer records showing the order in which the agents received the file. I have those here as well. as other but they can't leave the room. That's great. We know this much we can just get him. We just having us first look for contact between those 23 heart attack victims and the FBI, and right, let's form two teams. One team traces data movements, the other team traces victims. So any questions? There aren't many people who had access to task force information and were being probed by the FBI in the first 5 days. You're right. I have a question for you, Lizaki. Earlier you said you hate losing. By showing us your face, showing your face to us, aren't you admitting to that Kira defeated you? Yeah, showing myself and the loss of the FBI agents' lives means I've lost, but I'll win in the end. Like yourselves, this is the first time I've staked my life on a contest. Let's show him, those of us who are risking our lives, that the good guys always win. That's right, the good guys are going to win. Let's show him. Yeah, let's get him. Oops, Uriyazaki. Great, so first to be sure none of you are Kira, I'd like to speak to each of you alone. Ryuzaki is right. If Kira was in the task force to start with, it stands to reason to remain it now. And if he remained, he's seen Ryuzaki's face. If I could just get one more clue, something to clinch. Maybe I'm being too impatient. No, if we let him get away now. One clue, huh? That isn't the death note. Studying for the entrance exam. Way too late to be studying for that now. If I messed up even one time, if I left even one clue, my identity, I'm finished. Just one clue. Ray said he was going to Shinjuku that day. And that day 4 people died of heart attacks around Shinjuku station. Then there's that bus jacking. It was no coincidence that Ray was there. Kira doesn't need to use a heart attack to murder people. I know that for a fact.